The staff of the network Al Jazeera is mourning the loss of colleagues killed in an Israeli airstrike. The Israeli military says it deliberately targeted journalist Anas al-Sharif, accusing him of leading a Hamas cell.
So they were saying that this guy right here was a Hamas member, like they always do with everything whenever they blow people up. And they targeted a journalist tent and blew them up, chat. Craziness. Craziness.
The director of the Al-Shifa hospital says al-Sharif was in a tent marked with a press sign at the time of the attack. In all, 7 people were killed, including at least 3 other Al Jazeera journalists. Before his death, al-Sharif responded to Israel's accusation, saying he was a, quote, journalist with no political affiliations. Al Jazeera is calling the killing a desperate attempt to silence voices ahead of the occupation of Gaza. The Committee to Protect Journalists released a statement reading, quote, Israel's pattern of labeling journalists as militants without providing credible evidence raises serious questions about its intent.
And one of the things that they used, right, was a picture. Let me find it for you guys, because this was all over Twitter, and they were using a photo of him with some high-ranking Hamas officials. Let me go into one of these Israeli propaganda accounts for you guys.
And respect for press freedom. Journalists are civilians and must never be targeted. Those responsible for these killings must be held accountable. The CPJ says 186 journalists have been killed in Gaza.
So this is the photo that they're using. Right? This guy right here, he's a fucking raging fucking propagandist for Israel. Also, I'm pretty sure this guy's a G and he's in India. He's not even a fucking an Israeli, but he poses as an Israeli, uses an Anon account, which that should tell you everything you need to know. But anyway, they say Anas al-Sharif was a journalist. Here he is with Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. He was a terrorist. Don't let them fool you. Bro, taking a selfie with political leaders doesn't make you a fucking terrorist, bro. Okay? As a part of him being a journalist, of course, he's going to take pictures with and or do interviews with individuals. You know, by that logic, are the Nelk boys terrorists too? Since they interviewed Netanyahu? Like, no, dude, it's called journalism.
In the last 22 months. CNN's Nada Bashir is following all of these developments and joins us live now from London. Good to see you, Nada. Can you tell me a little bit more about Anas al-Sharif? From what I understand, he anticipated the possibility that he could be targeted and killed by Israel, right?
Absolutely. He had indeed raised concerns over the threats and allegations that he had seen mounting by members of the Israeli military and other Israeli government officials who had highlighted and pinpointed Anas al-Sharif as a potential target. And as you mentioned, Ivan, we've been hearing those warnings around his safety and calls for his protection from others as well, including the UN Special Rapporteur for the Freedom of Expression, as well as the Committee to Protect Journalists. And in fact, Al Jazeera, the international media network, had also raised concern around the safety and protection of Anas al-Sharif, as well as his other Al Jazeera colleagues and other journalists.
Look at that, man. Just the blood on the side. Craziness.
On the ground in the Gaza Strip, and we had been hearing those mounting allegations from members of the Israeli military, including the IDF's Arabic spokesperson. This has been described by many as a smear campaign against the Al Jazeera journalist. They accused him of being linked to Hamas, in their words, quote, a terrorist. But of course, Anas al-Sharif has become a household name for many in the Arabic-speaking world, for many closely following updates on the ground on the situation in Gaza on social media. Anas al-Sharif, over the last 22 months, has been a constant source of information on the ground across.
Yeah, so the reason why we don't know too much about him, Chaz, because obviously he's in the Arab side of Al Jazeera. There's Al Jazeera English and then Al Jazeera Arabic. But obviously on the Arab side, you know, doing a lot of reporting, right? A lot of reporting.
The Gaza Strip.
Very popular.
At the time of his death, he was, of course, in Gaza City. He was outside of the previously destroyed Al-Shifa hospital with other journalists, according to the hospital's director, Dr. Mohammed Abu Salmiya, in a tent clearly marked as a press tent. Now, this isn't the first time that we have seen these press tents.
Israelis don't give a fuck, bro. Killed them anyway.
in Gaza, across the Strip, being targeted in Israeli airstrikes. The Israeli military itself has indicated that this was a targeted strike against the Al Jazeera journalist as well as his colleagues. And we previously heard, as I mentioned, from the UN Special Rapporteur for freedom of expression, denouncing those allegations by the Israeli military as unfounded accusations. We've heard from the Committee to Protect Journalists, and we also heard from Anas al-Sharif speaking to the Committee to Protect Journalists, saying, "I live with the feeling that I could be bombed and martyred at any moment. This feeling is difficult and painful."
And I'm almost certain, I think Israel has killed more journalists than any other country in any other war, if I'm not mistaken. Chat, someone can fact check that for me. But I'm almost certain that Israel is taking a lead in killing journalists out of any other country. And then they sit there and they say they're the, they're the most moral army in the world, which is comical. And then they say, oh yeah, we're doing the best ratio ever in modern warfare. Okay, bro.
Painful, but it does not push me back. Rather, it motivates me to continue fulfilling my duty. And of course, as I mentioned, Anas al-Sharif was a crucial source of information in the Gaza Strip. As we know, international journalists have thus far not been permitted to access Gaza independently. And of course, Palestinian journalists on the ground have been a huge...
Now they're talking about letting international journalists in now, chat. They were talking about Israel opening it up now. But most of the war crimes have already been committed, right? Most of the work has been done. Now they're just cleaning up.
Huge source of information and updates on the ground on the situation. Ivan?
And they appear to have been systematically targeted. If you can cite the numbers from the Committee to Protect Journalists, at least 186 Palestinian journalists killed in 22 months of conflict.
186. Bro.
In Gaza, some 90 others imprisoned. Nada Bashir.
And then they'll sit there and say, oh, all of those journalists were Hamas, bro. All of those journalists were Hamas. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. You guys gave me this clip right here, so you guys want me to react to PBD's take on the journalists. Let's go.
And I'm sure you got a lot of stuff to say about it.
Who was killed?
Food Stamps gave me the right link, guys. That's on me.
The most reporters.
It's not his fault.
Did we do the numbers?
Syria.
Tom, what is that?
Syria did.
Yeah, this is.
Do we have that?
We can just. You can search for it. There's a
Israel
lot of
Defense Forces, Tom. That's like
But
what
there's other sources too. There's another.
Okay.
There's another media outlet that was Maya TV or everything, and that may be parroting the IDF thing. But
So this
there's
guy-
people that are out there publishing receipts on this that appear to be receipts. I
Okay.
don't know the validity of it, but you know what? There's a heck of a lot going on here. Look, is this the first? Just do this logically, Vinny. Is this the first reporter to die in an armed engagement over there, to be in the wrong place at the wrong time?
in the wrong place at the
No.
wrong time? No. And actually,
so let's assume they're a reporter, not the
Okay.
first. Then why is there so much static on this one?
what do you mean?
That's what I'm asking. Why is there so much fuzz? Like somebody shook up a root
because
beer and opened it.
it only killed 5 reporters. It only killed 5 reporters reporting on what's happening on the ground.
It kind of bothers me that there's so much buzz on this reporter.
No, Tom, it shouldn't be. I don't think it's just about this reporter. I think it's just for the past 2 weeks, all I've been hearing and seeing is
Are you saying like this is a George Floyd thing they're capitalizing off of?
Yeah, or something. And why is there so much buzz on this guy to say it was so many sources, unless the IDF is just doing the most amazing marketing between Saturday and Sunday,
Show the
pushing
video.
out all these fake receipts and everybody else is pushing them, Pat? That seems weird to me. Why is it so important to say
No,
that
the daughter
this
one, Rob.
reporter
Vinny, I think
was there?
Do you trust Muslims more than Israel? Do you trust?
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, wow. Yo, what? What? Yo! Yo! Oh, man. Say it ain't so. Say. Yeah, I got to play that back again, man. Yo, what?
Posting on Pat? That seems weird to me. Why is it so important to say
No,
that
the daughter
this
one, Rob.
reporter
Vinny, I think
was there?
Do you trust Muslims more than Israel? Do you trust
That's wild.
the report coming out of Gaza, Palestine, more than reports coming from Israel? I don't think you believe anything Israel says.
I'm not saying I don't believe.
That's crazy how we framed it. Do you trust Muslims more than Israel? Bruh. It's not just Muslims, bro. It's Arabs. And a lot of them are Christian Arabs, by the way, that are getting killed and bombed in Gaza. FYI. Everyone thinks it's just Muslims. Bro, there are Christian Palestinians getting bombed to fucking hell and killed as well, dude. This isn't a Muslim issue. This is a humanitarian issue. That's crazy. You framed it like that, though. Wow.
I don't believe. Hold on. I don't believe anything unless I'm shown the evidence. Okay, and what I've been seeing.
I don't know about that. I think there's also, like, I've never heard you make a pro-Israel argument ever. I've never heard you make a pro-Israel argument. So to me, the reason why I'm going with this is the following.
Well, the thing is that what Israel is doing is indefensible. So for you to not make a pro-Israel argument, like if someone doesn't make a pro-Israel argument, there's nothing wrong with that because Israel is the one that's bombing and killing. So if you don't make a pro-Israel argument, that doesn't change anything because what Israel is doing is wrong. So nothing that they're doing should be pro anyway.
I don't know. So for me, if you came in, notice what I said when we were prepping. I said, is it true that Israel the last 2 years has killed the most journalists? I'm the one that asked that question this morning.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. They have killed more journalists than anybody else. Here, I looked it up. Pretty much. In short, while other conflicts have seen high numbers of journalist deaths over time, the current Israel-Gaza war is considered by press freedom groups and organizations monitoring journalists casualties to be the single deadliest conflict for journalists ever recorded. Pretty black and white right there. Unprecedented death toll, overwhelming majority of are Palestinians, targeting of journalists, news graveyard. So yeah, they are.
Getting started. So it's not like I'm coming in on fire like.
For sure.
Because this is what I saw. Let's look at it. And I had Rob pull it up. Then Syria came up. But Syria was since 2011. But the last 2 years was Israel. U.S. was on the list as third place. Top three countries were Syria, Israel, and us, right? Okay, great. But I think the part that, you lose is when it's no matter what, it's all one side. We're at dinner. This guy's defending Nick Fuentes. I'm like, what is Adam defending Nick Fuentes on? I got more respect for Nick Fuentes than anybody else that's saying stuff that they're saying about Israel. Right? You have to be very...
Because Nick has been talking about this longer than anyone else. Right? Nick has been on this topic for 10 years, pretty much. Right? And he's been correct. He's been on it longer than me. Been on it longer than any other mainstream personality. Now this conversation is safe to have, but he was on it before everybody else.
More
careful.
respect for Nick versus Tucker is, I think, what I said.
Right, no, specific that community.
Yes, yes.
It was what? Fuentes, Candace, and Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick has been saying what he's been saying a lot longer than they have been saying it, right?
This is true. Absolutely.
It's okay. And what was his premise on the respect? Well, he says what he believes in. That's Adam's
He
point,
hasn't
right?
shifted.
Yeah. I think the
Everyone
biggest
else
thing
has
here is...
Now, not to give myself too much credit, but I also was talking about this before it was safe to talk about it. Guys, again.
It's almost become like if a white man is killed by a black man, CNN won't report on it. But if, God forbid, Jussie Smollett, anything George Floyd, oh my God, bombs goes on, right? You have to find a way to, because If I look what's
This is going to be interesting to see how he weaves this one together. Let's see what he says.
going on right now in Europe, how bad do you think Europe's about to get? Very
Europe
bad.
is going to fall apart.
And you know what's after Europe? We're after
Canada.
Europe. No, they're going to come here surrounding it, and then they're going to try to target here. What is Mamdani doing? What is another guy that I think I was watching his video? This is UK right now. I don't even know if we want to play this clip. I don't even want to play
a lot
this
of profanity.
It's just a lot of stuff like this that you can see. But to me, you have to be very careful that you only follow accounts. Like when I wake up in the morning, what account do I go and watch to see what they're saying? I go to CNN because I want to see what counter arguments are being made there. Blind spots.
Yeah, this is why I watch liberal media too. That's actually a good strategy to look at opposition media.
But if you wake up and you just go to a couple things of guys you follow, because that's what you want to hear, because it validates what you believe in, you'll end up having a lot of blind spots. And I don't want us to have blind spots. And that
Now, here's the thing. So I told you guys this before. I'll say it again. I watch Israeli media. I watch Arab media. I watch American media, etc. The thing is this. I would say I'm fairly well read on this topic on from looking at different medias, and it just comes back to the same conclusion. The state of Israel is an indefensible position to have. There's a reason why people like Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro, which we'll talk about this here in a second, refuse to debate Nick Fuentes on this topic. It's a losing subject. Losing subject. So they do everything in their power to avoid that conversation because the defense of Israel is an indefensible position. Regardless of what media you look at.
includes myself.
If anything, Israeli media solidifies why you can't support Israel. When I debunked October 7th with Suleiman, we relied exclusively on Israeli media to do that. Times of Israel, Haaretz, both their left-wing and right-wing media. Yoav Gallant admitting that the Hannibal Directive was activated on October 7th. Who was their defense minister? So, to the contrary, I actually read and look at Israeli media a lot. And they were the ones that gave me the info, a lot of it, that the beheaded babies, all this shit, bullshit, bro. Bullshit. And then if you just look at the numbers, we got 60,000 confirmed killed in Gaza now. Half of that are women and children. So we're talking about 20 to 30,000 innocent women and children that were blown up and killed, blown to smithereens by Israel. Indefensible, bro. Indefensible. Indefensible. And that's what Israel will even admit to is 60,000 dead. They'll tell you all day on Piers Morgan's show, we killed 20,000 Hamas fighters. Okay. How many civilians did y'all kill? They avoid it. We're the most mobile army in the world. We got the best fucking ratios. No, you don't. And even if you did, I don't give a fuck what the best ratios are. Killing innocent people is unacceptable. 20 to 30,000, over half of the people you killed are fucking kids? Bro. That's why it's indefensible.
I have my own bias as well. So I'm not sitting here telling you I don't have any biases. But if I have to choose between the two, it's not even close to conversation of what's going to be happening. It's not even
So in other words, he would believe Israeli media over Arab media is probably what the bottom line is going to be here. Because that's what he asked Vinny.
close. And even yesterday, Trump said that they're going to take over Gaza. I don't know if you
But even if you look at Israeli media, it makes them look even worse.
saw that happened yesterday. Trump just said, yeah, how are you going to take over Gaza? We're just going to take over Gaza. How are you going to do it? We're just going to take it over. How can you do that? Under what jurisdiction? Under the U.S. jurisdiction. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, he said that, and he hasn't said it since. Guys, notice ever since that really bad press conference, Trump has not mentioned Gaza or taking over Gaza since. You guys notice that? He has not said a fucking word about taking over Gaza since because he got so much backlash.
I don't even know what he's doing behind closed doors. We don't even know what things are taking place. But we have to be very careful that the only thing we ever see, is this the one, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you play this, Rob?
Don't want to leave their land. Some people say this is ethnic cleansing. You won't be able to.
Yeah, this is when Netanyahu came, I think, back in March or April.
force them to leave the land. They stay
We're moving
there.
them to a beautiful location where they have new homes, where they can live safely, where they'll have
Do you want to
doctors
leave,
and
sir?
medical and all of those things. And I think it's going to be great. Yeah, any questions?
You said before that the U.S. would buy Gaza, and today you just said we're not going to buy Gaza.
We're not going to have to buy. We're going to have Gaza. We don't have to buy. There's nothing to buy. We will have Gaza.
What does that mean?
No reason to buy. There is nothing to buy. It's Gaza. It's a war-torn area. We're going to take it. We're going to hold it. We're going to cherish it.
And Mr. President,
Yeah, bro, that shit is great. We're gonna hold it. We're gonna cherish it. Like, come on, man.
take it under
You could tell he was not prepared for that question.
Under what's it?
In one authority.
Under the U.S.
Yeah.
With so many opinions out there, I mean, if you asked me 10 years ago if I would just trust Trump's instincts, I would say, hell no. At this point, if there's one person who has all the information, whose instincts that I trust, it's one person, and it's Donald Trump. I'm sorry. I didn't feel that way before. I feel that way now. And that's on most issues, if not all. So, including the Gaza one.
Yeah, I think you just, it's very, very hard. Like on my Instagram stories, I'm tagged. You know how you go to see what stories you're tagged on? Stories, videos. You don't even know what's going on over here, what they're doing. I'm like, yeah, you're going to only send me one side. None of the videos are easy to watch. And then I get messages from Israel. You don't know what's going on over here. And I got it yesterday. I won't give any names, but, these are people that are in Israel saying, you don't even know what they're doing to the Christians and to this and this. I'm also not fully there. But I have the ability to watch both sides, and I understand why you're sending me the clips to say what, Palestinians are doing to Christians and Jews, and I understand why you would send me the clips to say what Jews are doing to Gaza and Palestinians. You have to find a way to not be emotionally caught up, because then you are a victim of propaganda and they got you. Hook, line, sinker, you're done. And
Dude, see, Patrick is doing everything in his power to like stay neutral here, right? And try to be the voice of reason. But the reality is, like, bro, like, this is why shilling for Israel is an L. It's very simple. There's one side in the right and one side in the, not even in the right. I'm not even going to say one side in the right. I'm just going to say there's one side on the wrong, 1,000%, and that is Israel. That is Israel, bro. There's no justification for dropping bombs on babies, destroying hospitals, destroying churches, destroying mosques, killing innocent people. We know it's 60,000. Guys, this just counts for the people that they have in the morgue, right? The Gaza Health Ministry. This does not count for the people that are missing. This doesn't count for the people that died from malnutrition, died from preventable diseases, died from their injuries and the wounds. No, that's just the people that got bombed and died immediately. So Patrick is trying to take a middle ground stance on a position that isn't a middle ground. It's either you're for the genocide or you're not. It's very simple. What Israel is doing is indefensible. He's trying to kind of like, propaganda and all this shit. That's fine. Both sides are always going to push out their propaganda, right? But when you remove the fucking propaganda smoke, what Israel's doing is indefensible, bro. It's indefensible. It really is. And I want you guys to not forget, why did this all start? This all started from October 7th, okay? And I told you guys this before, but I'm going to tell you guys again. October 7th, 1,200 Israelis were killed. 400 of the killed were IDF soldiers, enemy combatants. Fair game, unfortunately, in the game of war, right? Next, we know 200 at least were killed by the Hannibal Directive, right? So we go from 1,200 minus 400, 800. Then we take another 200 that we know were killed confirmed by the IDF Hannibal Directive. That leaves us with 600. Okay? So what does that mean? Of the 600 people that were killed, that is the absolute max that Hamas killed. Okay? On that day. Now let's just talk about proportionality here. Is it fair, assuming Hamas killed all those 600, let's assume they killed all those 600, is it fair to bomb and destroy a heavily populated area of 2 million plus people, killing 20 to 30,000 kids confirmed, 20 to 30,000 kids confirmed? Mind you, Gaza was 50% minors before they invaded. It was roughly around 2 to 2.3 million people that lived in the Gaza Strip. About 50% of them were children under the age of 18. Okay? So the staggering majority of people that have been killed and displaced have been innocent children. For 600, is it worth killing 60,000, 30,000 of those being kids, more than likely? Is it worth it? I would say no. But this goes back to my original point that I've made for years now at this point. Israel is an apartheid ethno-state based on supremacy, whether they want to accept it or not. They'll sit there and tell you guys, oh, but we're a democracy. No, they're not. A democracy does not have millions living under its occupation with no right or voice to go ahead and vote or have any type of sovereignty. Israel is not a democracy. It's an apartheid. You cannot be an apartheid while sitting there and saying that you're a democracy. You can't. The two cannot coexist. The two are actually completely antithetical to each other. To everybody else, to all the idiots, they sit there and say they're democracy. Yeah, democracy only for Jews and 2 million Palestinians. But the other millions that live under their occupation in the Gaza Strip and in the West Bank have no rights whatsoever. And this doesn't even account for the thousands of Palestinians that are in fucking prison without charge, which is why October 7th happened in the fucking first place, by the way. Because Israel is holding hundreds, if not thousands, of Palestinian prisoners as hostages. And it goes back to what I told you guys before. They don't value life outside of Israeli Jewish life. That's the truth. That's the cold hard truth. They won't say this. They won't admit this. Publicly, at least. Maybe Ben Gvir will, because he's fucking genocidal maniac. And he's a part of the government, by the way, FYI. But the point is 600 people were killed on October 7th by Hamas at most, doing the math. Is that proportionate to bombing and killing 60,000 plus? Harvard estimates it somewhere between 300,000 to 400,000. Other sources say well over 100,000. The 60,000 is just what we have confirmed. Doesn't account for all the other stuff. So, any way you slice it, the defense of Israel is an indefensible position, and it's a losing position every single time. And Pat is trying to take a neutral stance here, because I do think Pat is a Zionist. He's been to Israel before. Obviously, there's business relations that he doesn't want to sever, because we know how they run certain industries. But dude, like, fuck Israel, man. Like, they're indefensible. Indefensible.
All you see is that. And I'm seeing, believe it or not, more and more people now kind of stepping away and saying, oh, shit, I got a little bit in too deep here. Let me step back a little bit and see what happened. Neither side is innocent, but this side is.
Well, again, you're right. Neither side is innocent. But the Israelis are far worse. Far fucking worse.
Is definitely not innocent with the history that they have. If they're so great, why isn't nobody else from the other side taking them? You keep coming back more this way. And I get that, the motive of the other side, where they're at, what they're up to. But you have to be very, very careful that you only see and hear and read what you want to see and read that validates your point. Because then you have so many blind spots, so many, and you can't be reasonable. Now you're just fighting to be right. One of the best things.
Well, there's one side that's definitely wrong here. And, man, this is so disappointing. I get it. He's trying to be neutral. He doesn't want to burn bridges. But, dude, just don't talk about the topic. Like, if I were him, guys, like, bro, all these guys that, like, don't want to shit on Israel for business, very clearly for business reasons, right? Because if you shit on Israel, it's going to fuck you up politically and financially. Just don't talk on this topic, bro. Be like DJ Khaled. Just don't talk shit, bro. Don't say nothing, dude. Because you're gonna take an L talking about this topic.
About this exercise of sitting with the guys last week, not last week.
Jubilee.
Jubilee. You know what was great about it? To sit and talk to a bunch of 20-year-olds. One guy was probably 45, 50 years. I don't know why he was there. But to sit and talk to all these other guys that are students, it's also to see, okay, that's an interesting argument. Let me go look into that. Like, I myself have things to go look into after the conversation with them to say, why did they say this? What was this? Okay, got it. This one. Well, this got a good point here. One of the guys had a good point that I brought him back at the end to debate it. But I can't just go thinking I'm going to beat everybody in this. No, because then you'll never learn. You'll only be one-sided. The Gentleman's Series, VT merch. Let me tell you.
Yeah, very bad take from PBD here. Disagree 100%. It's very obvious that he's trying to avoid certain conflicts that inevitably come when you talk about this topic and you're critical of Israel. Because let's be honest, they run the media, they run the banking system, they run YouTube, etc. Talking about this topic negatively can absolutely fuck you up. So, you know, PBD doesn't want to take a side on this because it's extremely divisive and can cause them, you know, financial hardship or censorship or whatever. And not everybody's prepared to deal with it, chat. Like, here's the other thing, too. Like, guys, not everybody is willing, right, to put their nuts on a chopping block. Very few people are willing to do that shit, bro. Right? Not everybody's like me and crazy enough to say, yo, what the fuck? This is some bullshit. You know? It is what it is, guys. A lot of YouTubers are just not willing to talk about this shit for a bunch of reasons. Right? You could lose your platform. You got people working for you that depend on you, etc. I get it. But if you're gonna go ahead and have like a bad take like that, just don't even share, bro. Because look at this, bro. The amount of dislikes on this. Holy, the people don't lie, bro. See, look, APVD is under APAC control. See, you can't fool the people, bro. You can't fool the people. The people are fucking smart. You know what I mean? The people are smart, bro. Why can't this guy ever call out Israel? Yeah, it's very obvious that he's not going to do it because in his world, bro, calling out them boys is career. PBD comes from the business insurance world, bro. You know who runs that shit. Also, South Florida. Yeah. That might be why they haven't invited me back in a minute now that I think about it, bro. It's been a minute since I've been on the PBD podcast, bro. That might be why. Now that I think about it, man, that might be why I haven't been there for so long. Oh, man. I might cause them some problems.